All right, guys. I don't know if you guys have been drinking Celsius. I know Ryan Dalton has been really pushing these. Probably going to get a sponsorship one day, but not going to lie, I really do like them. They're like a little espresso shot or a little 5-hour energy, if you will, and they have a lot of caffeine in them, so they're good stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to let this individual in, and we are going to rip, baby. Here we go. Let me know if you guys like the view back here. It's just an immaculate view this morning.
Oh,
What's going on, dude?
hey, how's it going?
Good, man. I just was talking to you over Messenger. You were on a work call, right?
Yeah, I was on a small work call, but I'm not actually needed there. I just needed to be like in the background, so
Gotcha. Perfect, dude.
it's all good.
Well, perfect. Well, cool. And is it Cuba? How do you pronounce
Yeah,
it?
it's Cuba.
Okay, Cuba. I was just, man, I'm probably slaughtering it. Cuba, well, it's good to have you on the call, dude. I'm excited, dude. You've literally been in the group how long? Like, it hasn't been that long.
Yeah, like 30. I closed my first deal 34 days in. Yeah.
In 30, oh, so it's literally like a little over a month. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
even.
just it was gonna be honestly in a month, but the guy had to reschedule because he couldn't get off the job. I mean, that's if I was kind of anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Dude, I love it, dude. So tell us a little bit about yourself and we'll get into the deal. So Cuba, where are you from? And like give us a little bit of your background.
Yeah, so I'm from upstate rural New York. Well, originally I'm from Poland, but I moved to the States in 2010. Went to school in Montreal, studied business and computer science, but I always had a knack to like do something by myself. And I always was like looking at all these online businesses and stuff like drop shipping and all these things, but I never like committed to start. And now, yeah, I finally saved up some cash and I pulled the trigger and now we're here.
I love it, dude. So what video did you watch of Nick's to just like hook you? What was one that you were just like, that made sense? Let's do it.
It was a process. It was probably like the span of 2 or 3 weeks. I've been seeing his TikToks, and at one point I was like, all right, he's got some pretty good valuable stuff. So I started watching like all of them, just kind of scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I didn't even know he had a group actually, or a course, or anything like that. Which was kind of intriguing to me because most of the time, all these gurus are like pushing it, whereas he wasn't. So that was kind of the catalyst for me to be like, okay, let's jump into this one because the guy isn't like
Over
that's obviously not his main income because he's not like pressing it. So that means that there's something else that he's doing.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, and what's cool about Nick is the process that we use is exactly what he does on like everything, right? Like sales is such like a weird thing. Like I feel like if you're too like pushy with certain things, like I feel like your results speak louder than your words, right? So I think that's a
Mhm.
big reason why I did that. But dude, that's awesome. So tell us about you, like what do you do for work now?
So my job, I work in consulting. So I work in technology consulting. So basically helping big corporations implement softwares that help them with whatever they need, like CRM or data management or things like that. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing that?
9 months.
9 months. That's sweet. And so what do you feel like well let's talk about your deal. So what was the niche that you went into for your first deal?
So I joined the course and I was like, I just literally followed everything he said to a T. So I just went straight into concrete. Um, and yeah, it was in concrete.
Dude, there's still concrete deals
There's
out
still concrete.
there. There's
Yeah,
still con-
I'm just as surprised. I was like, dude, it's so saturated, but like, because it feels like it, right? Because everyone's in it, but no, there's still people out there.
well, dude, what I've noticed too is like you'll do your research and you'll see lead gen, you'll see even people from the group sometimes, but half the time they're not even sold, so they're just websites. You know what I'm saying? So like, dude, there's so much to be made. Like, I know the ranking and stuff, like be smart about it, but dude, any niche that you desire to go into, just do it. Like, stop overthinking. I love that you just went into concrete again, dude. That's awesome. So tell us about it. How much was the deal and like how long is the like what's the course of the deal or whatever? Like how long?
Okay, so it took me about 7 or 8 cities to land the deal. It was 2 waves. First wave was like just kind of like first test wave. Wasn't really didn't know what I was doing. I was just following the course,
Yeah.
and then I went into cities that didn't have enough volume, and I was I wasn't getting any clicks. So I just kind of went back to the drawing board, rewatched some of the videos, and I launched in 5 cities. And one of them started picking up. I was getting like quite a good amount of leads. So yeah, I just started calling business owners, like just like in the course it told me to do, right? And eventually, yeah, I landed on one that sounded good. He just sounded like he was competent and talkative, and he wanted the jobs. And then I was wondering, okay, when do I like schedule that, closing call and stuff? And just like in the video, like in the videos, Nick was saying, you'll know, like you do know. He's like, at one point he was asking me questions like, okay, so what's going on? Like, how's this gonna work? I'm like, oh, okay. I'll send you a video and I'll explain everything, and I'll schedule a call. And he's like, okay, sounds good. So we were supposed to have a call on Thursday 2 weeks ago, and he had to reschedule because he was on a concrete job, and I was getting all antsy. I was like, okay. I don't know if he's like trying to, skirt me or what's going on. And I was all weekend long, I was scratching my head. And then on Monday, just confirmed with him, and he said, yeah, let's do it. And we hopped on the call. I just followed the script, and yeah, I closed it for $750 a month, lower than I wanted because his profit margins were lower than I expected. But it's a lesson learned that I could have probably bumped it up to at least 1,000. But yeah, still happy that I got the first call I've ever, literally first sales call ever in my life.
I love it, dude.
And yeah, snagged it up.
That's so sick. So what would you say, what was the hardest part for you? I know like sometimes it goes a lot smoother than you think, but like for you, what was like your why but like maybe I'm nervous to call, maybe I like am just afraid to spend money on ads? Like what was like the hardest mental roadblock for you?
For me, it's not the calling. Well, it's like the starting to do the calls, right? Like the starting to do the research. It's just that initial spark to do things. That's the hard part. Once I get 2 or 3 calls in me, I'm like, okay, I'm on a roll. I can just keep calling people over and over and over. I would say it's probably the middle part of the whole process, like the research and the prospecting. That part's kind of grueling to me. So setting up like which cities I'm going to go into and then launching those, and then a little bit of analysis paralysis because I went overboard and I researched basically the whole United States. And so I have like a list of like 30 cities, and I'm like, okay, where do I start? And it's like, no, don't say that. Just start. Just pick 5 and go, and then just pick 5 and go, and just pick 5 and go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the analysis paralysis and the grueling over and over kind of tasks, like the repetitive tasks that are hard for me.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and I think everything's different for everybody. I mean, that's normal. I think for me the hardest, and I would agree, I think the hardest part for me is like I was busy, but I wasn't doing things that were productive. Like I wasn't necessarily like I was making some calls, but I wasn't really like trying to find a business owner. I was like, oh, I'm working, I'm doing this. Like it's sooner or later it'll come. It's like, no, like you got to focus on the results. And I think you've got that, right? I think that's like a one thing that you finally clicks. But dude, that's awesome. So was there any objections? Was it like what did he say to you? Because you said it was a lot lower than you thought that you wanted, but like what was his objections? Where did you have to go back and forth on price? Like what do you have to do?
Yeah, so his biggest objection was the contract. He wasn't opposed to contracts in general, but he was opposed to a 6-month contract that locks him in. Okay. So we just negotiated. I watched a bunch of calls from the group and got some ideas from people. So I shot with a price based on the calculator, and it was even lower actually than what I closed it on. And then he said 6 months is too long, and I don't want to be locked in. I don't even know. Like, yeah, he sent me leads, but like they're okay. They weren't like huge leads. I was like, sure, okay. How about 3 months? But if we shorten the contract, I need to raise the price because I have to balance the scales. That was what I said. He's like, okay, that's fair. What's the new price? So I just popped the price up the top of my dome. I was like, shit, I didn't expect that. So, and then he was like, okay, sure, 3 months is all right. And then he was still back and forth. He's like, I just don't want to be locked in. I want to have a guarantee. So I gave him a 6-week cancellation period with a 2-week notice. And I told him, I'm happy to give you a trial, but I need to know 2 weeks in advance so that I can find someone new, right? And he was okay with that. So that was honestly the only objection I got from him.
Yeah. And like I said previously, I like I know, like I've had leads where I've passed over and they're bad, but I feel like if you tell them, say, hey, I know this isn't a big lead. I don't even care. Like, just quote them. I just want you to know, like, this is like kind of how it works. And then flip the table a little bit and say, the reason I'm sending you this, like, is one, yeah, I hope you close it. But two, I want to know how you are on the phone, and like,
Mhm.
kind of make it seem like you're the one that's going to be picking, because I feel like too often, rather than not, we put ourselves in a position of like, hey, pick me, pick me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
control. So that's one thing that I've learned is like it's all about how you go about sending,
Frame
like,
the situation kind of.
yeah, make the situation in your favor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was
But
definitely trying to do that as well when I was talking to him, at the different touch points we had. I was reiterating that I'm also looking for the right fit, right? I'm not just chasing you, but I need to see that you're hungry and to see that you're good at what you do, because I don't want to work with you for, for 3 months and then be over with it.
yeah, for sure. What's one thing that you want to do better next time? Like, did you ever know? Because I noticed the first when I did, I was like, okay, I was really nervous about, or I didn't do as good a job as following up, or like, what's one thing that you feel like you want to do better on your next call or next deal?
Mm, well, I would say definitely get at more money because I'm basically breaking even. So
Yeah.
I guess be more prepared for those those external, like those rebuttals from the business owner when we're talking. Just be ready for the price going lower, things not going as you expect. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I even think like I just think you got the deal, dude. Like that's the hardest part is like just feeling like seeing the process from A to Z. Like at the end of the day, like if you're just like not satisfied with this customer, say, bro, I either got to raise the price to 1,200 or I got to find a new business owner after the contract's up or whatever. But like
Hmm.
I think it's awesome that you at least got the deal, because even if you're just breaking even, like now you got a taste of what it's like. Now it's
Hmm.
like,
Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? It's all about this like laying your foundation for like the bigger picture. So
Yeah.
there's so
For
many
me, it
things.
was kind of like a proof of concept that I can do it and that it's possible. Now it's like, okay, I just have to do that again and again and again. And it's not the end of the world. I mean, he understands that at 3 months I'm raising the price. Like we talked about it at the end of the call. He
Mhm.
kind of asked me like jokingly, because I think he knew he got a good price, that if he can keep that price at 3 months. I was like, no, we're gonna increase it. I mean, obviously if it makes sense, but it's gonna make sense. So he knows.
Yeah, totally. Dude, that's awesome. So what's like the most satisfying thing with this business model? Like you obviously were like hooked because like it just made sense. But like what's one thing that you're just like, this is like really why I did. I know there's a lot of things that go into it, but like what's one thing that you were like, this is why I want to do this?
Big part is that once you set things up, it's pretty hands off. So that's a big part of it for me. And another part is that it's pretty um, streamlined. Like there's just a few things you have to get right. You have to do two or three things correctly, and you get the business model. Whereas the other business models, it might not be so simple, right?
Yeah, gotcha. No, that's cool. What you mentioned earlier, when we were talking, you were saying like you just want to freaking do so, like you want to see something through. That's what kind of like what you said. That's like paraphrasing, but you're like, I just want to actually finish something. That's kind of like what you said. Have
Hmm.
you ever? Are you the type of guy, and I am too. Like honestly, like I'm the type of guy that starts a book and won't finish it. Like I'm always
Hmm.
like starting a new book because it looks cool, but I never really do it. Have you? Are you kind of guilty of that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Still to this day, I'm even being right now like in this program. I'm still catching myself like looking at other things and like, oh,
Yeah.
come on, man, just like focus, dude. Like this is working. Like double down. But I still to this day catch myself doing that.
The grass is always greener. Like honestly, like you always are like, oh, dude,
Yeah,
it's so much easier, or this looks better. Like, but honestly, like I feel like if you just freaking lift where you stand, dude, and just freaking put in the work with whatever you're doing, you're gonna be successful at it. It's just the reps.
literally. Literally, you just have to pick one thing and just do it long enough and hard enough, and you will make money.
Yeah, I
Just
love it.
depends what problems you want to have on the day to day.
I know. Well, and I love Nick when he said he posted something about him being on like his own like internal team for his business, and he's like, dude, I'm doing the same thing you are, and he's like, I've been there. I've been to like this is the honeymoon stage, like when everything's running good. You're so excited because you got your first deal, but then like you get two or three deals, then you lose two, and then you're back to one, and now you're like, well, crap, this isn't as fun. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
there's a time where all the excitement wears off, and now it's like, do I actually want to like do this because it works? Like I've seen plenty of people that are making 30 to 50K and or whatever 100K a month. Like why can't I do that? But it's like they've been in the game for 5 to 6 years, and we've been in it 4 or 5 months.
Mhm.
you know so like I just love that there's like it's gonna wear off, but like your consistency is like really gonna be the deal breaker for how well you do in the group, right? Or like how well you do in the business.
Absolutely. It's all about consistency and putting in the reps every day in, day out.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Anything you like to add, like just any little like words of advice? Like what would you tell yourself now? Like, wow, what would you tell yourself 2 months ago, knowing what you know now?
I think it goes back to what you were saying is like make sure you do the things that are moving the needle. Like even if you feel like you're working, but it's not actually gonna help you get more deals,
Mhm.
or like increase your retention rate or something like that, then you're wasting your time. Like I would find myself, like you said, just like thinking, feeling productive, like, oh, I'm doing this and that, but it's like, okay, this hasn't really done anything. Like I log off at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, I'm not anywhere closer to where I need to be.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah, you just have to be focused. I feel like when you are like your own boss, like you could either like take a day off, or like you can do something every single day to like, even if it's something small, but like it moves the needle for. That's what I figured. Like it's better to be consistent, like going to the gym every day, even if it's like a crap workout, just the consistency of like I do business every single day, rather than oh, on Saturdays I'll just like log into to whatever and I'll do a little bit of work. Like it's just every single day. You'll literally be so far gone in a couple of years, you'll be blown away. So
100%.
okay, let's get some questions here. Anyone have anything that they'd like to ask Kuba here? Let's see. Tim Johnson said congrats.
Thank you.
um
Thank you.
Nick says Drake says live from the gutter, but I'm saying live from the tractor, baby. Yes, sir. And then he said, Kuba, congrats on the deal, bro. Let's see what we got.
Thank you.
Okay, another guy said, guys, how do you feel about watch repair as a niche? I would probably say no. I don't I don't know, maybe. I haven't looked much into it. It just seems like if you're gonna be doing like if you have an expensive watch, like I don't know if I would look online for like an into like I would almost go back to the seller, like who I bought.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't you think?
That's something I would probably ask like a friend of a friend if they know someone who like
Yeah.
that's
Like if
done
you got
watches
like a
before.
Rolex, I'm not gonna like go back to like a buddy online at a pawn shop. Like I'm going back to Rolex and they're gonna fix it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it might be worth a shot, but I would probably say not your first. Don't do it for your first deal, especially. Don't try to do that. Okay. So Jackson Stoddard said, "Are you getting Google Business Profile set up? You just landed it like recently. You probably haven't started anything with Google My Business, have you?"
I haven't yet, but I'll be watching and learning how to do it. Basically, yeah, this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And they said, "Congrats, bro." Sick. So that's all our questions, guys. Anything else before we hop off? If you guys have questions, this is your chance to ask Kuba here.
Drop your questions, boys
Yeah,
and girls.
guys. Here we go. I'll wait a second and just see if
Yeah, we can wait.
the crowd pops off here. We got 12 people on. Let's see who else is who's on. We
You
got
ripping the tractor around today?
yeah,
What is
dude.
that thing? What is that? It's a
This is
tractor. It's a combine, or
this is just the tractor. We usually just pull like implements behind it. We just bought it this year, dude. We got the cooler in here. This is like when you're out here in the hot sun, dude, and like it's weird because you wouldn't think that it gets hot in here, but like just the sun just freaking beating
Mm.
up. It's hot. So having the nice old cooler is wonderful.
Yeah,
So
that thing looks spacious. Looks very nice.
yeah, dude. So Just in the tractor today, and it's raining, so it's a little bit slower. So I'm glad that we can just hop on this call. Okay, let's see. Jackson said, "What's the process, or how's the process of learning paid ads been? Have you had any troubles like suspensions or anything with ads, or have you felt like it's? I mean, obviously Nick goes through it, but like, have you had any problems with it?
Right when I created my account, I get suspended instantly, and I
Oh,
just appealed it, and they let me go through. So it was very simple. But with the ads, I just followed the course. I haven't really experimented with like expert ads and stuff. Maybe I will eventually, but right now I'm just gonna stick to what's been recommended and just try to close a few more deals before I do that.
as far as ads go, like I'm really not the best with ads, but like I just feel like just like Nick literally tells you use smart ads. Like that's all we do. Like yeah, there's certain
Mhm.
things you probably want to do like that he gives you later or whatever in the group, but like use smart ads. Like I don't overthink this. I think sometimes there's so many people that analysis paralysis, and they get in there like, oh, expert mode. I've done ads before for whatever, and it's like, well, that's cool, but this is a different. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just different ads that work well for different businesses, and so for
Mhm.
what we do, it's better. And I don't know. Like I said, I've been suspended too, but it's because of credit card. Just appealed it like 2 or 3 times, and I was out.
Yeah, I haven't had any big issues.
Okay. If I don't have any other more, we'll call it, guys. I mean, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Um, no, not really. It's really nice to talk to you, and happy to be on the live finally and get my face out here. And yeah, gonna be going for my next deals in the next months. Gonna get that 10K by the end of the year. Let's
I
go.
love it. I forgot to ask you a couple questions. One more question.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
What's your goal for the next 3 to 6 months? Where do you want to be?
So next 3 months, definitely match my income. And then next 6 months, hit the 10K mark. Yeah.
I love it. Well, it's so possible. It sounds like you got all the momentum in the world. So go get another deal, dude.
Yes, sir.
Well, guys,
I'll be posting.
I know. Thanks for being on, guys. We'll be back next week with another live. So tell your friends, get the popcorn out. We're gonna be on a different piece of equipment next week. Hopefully it'll be a bit sunnier. So until we meet again, we'll see you, Kuba.
Thanks. Bye.